Hello. Ever since I first saw the Roman Szmal mini palettes a couple of months ago, I knew that there was no chance of me not trying to get hold of one as soon as humanly possible. And so yesterday this parcel arrived from Spain, from the company Ultramarine. I decided to get one of the mini palettes that came with the 8 paints, which is called the Watercolour set for urban sketches, and then one empty palette as well. These worked out at about £25 for the filled palette and just over £7 for the empty one, and I paid just over £6 for the shipping costs. So this is the filled palette. You've got the colours on the back along with the pigment information, light fast information, etc. And I chose to get the blue one. There's 4 different colours to choose from. So this is 2/3 the size of the regular little metal palettes. And one thing I really liked about this palette when I first saw it was the colour selection. It's not your usual pick of 8 colours for a limited palette. And so today I'm dying to see how they mix with each other and what range of colours you can get with them. A few of these colours I've already got in full pan size, but some of these are new to me. So I'm going to quickly swatch them out first of all, and then I'm going to do some mixing with this palette and see what can be achieved. So the first colour is Nicico Gold. I was quite excited about this colour because I've not tried it before, and I've got a feeling that I'd be quite happy having this as my only yellow in a mixing palette. In my little Fun 2 palette, I've got a PY150. Although this is Magello Mission Gold's green gold, PY150s are usually called Nicolazo yellow. And I've really enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed having that as my only yellow in a mixing palette. So I'm curious to see how much this one differs from a regular Nicolazo yellow. So just for reference, I'm just going to put a couple of swatches alongside. So this is Roman Szmal's Nicolazo yellow, which is just PY150. I'll just do a splodge of this one. So in the washed out form, the Nicolazo yellow is quite a bit cooler. And even in the more washed out form here, there is a much more golden or warm yellow tone to it. And also with this Nicolazo Gold, you've got a tiny bit of kind of dark brown granulation from the PR102. So I think this is a really interesting paint. I quite like it. I'm looking forward to doing some mixes with it. And next we've got Aquarius Orange. And this is a lovely, ever so slightly burnt orange. That's a PO pigment. One fairly similar paint that I've got to that, just to give it some context, is Daniel Smith's quinacridone Sienna. Though this one is a mixture of PO48, PR209 and PY150. I was slightly surprised to have an orange in such a limited palette, because this is something you can mix pretty easily if you've got a red and a yellow, though there isn't a warm red in the set or a burnt sienna in the set, so this might kind of partly be filling those roles. Then we've got the quinacridone red. So this is quite similar to a few PV19s that I've got. This is Quartz Quinacridone Red. And this is Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Rose, which actually is that bit cooler again. And then we've got French Ultramarine. And I've never actually tried a Roman Szmal French Ultramarine before. So I'm quite curious to see how much granulation this one has. It already looks like it's granulating quite a bit. So I'm just going to try it out alongside A Gallows French Ultramarine. And Schminker's French Ultramarine also granulates quite a bit. This really does look like a nice clear bright blue that granulates quite a lot. I'm excited for this one. Then we've got Cobalt Sea Blue in this gorgeous cobalt turquoisey colour. And this is one which I already had in full pan form and really like. So I'm glad to have it in the half pan size so I can take it in travel palettes. And this is quite similar to other PB28s. This is Magello Mission Gold's PB28, which I really like too. And then there's a green in the set, which is Autumn Green. And this is an interesting granulating one, though I had a slight pang of disappointment when I saw that it was Autumn Green in the set, because I would so much more have preferred Roman Szmal's Aquarius Green, which is a darker granulating green. This one has much more of a brighter orange kind of undertone. I don't have anything exactly like it. The closest things I have are probably Daniel Smith's Serpentine Genuine, but this has got like a brown granulation to it. Whereas with Autumn Green, it's the green that granulates and the bright kind of yellowy orange that's left behind. Whereas with the Serpentine Genuine, it's the brown that granulates and the pale kind of green that's left behind. And then purely in colour terms, the other most similar colour I've got is Hooker's Green from Roman Szmal. And then a colour I was quite interested to see in this set, and that's Shadow Violet. I've been enjoying using kind of dark grey purples for my shadows, so I think this is a great addition. And the closest thing I have to this is Moonglow from Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith Moonglow is a mixture of PG18, PB29 and PR177, and the PR177 in it can fade. So I think the Shadow Violet is kind of like a light fast version of Moonglow. So it's got the PG50, PB29 and PV19. And then the last one in the set is Burnt Sienna Brownish, which is a PBR7. I think the closest one I've got to this is Daniel Smith's Burnt Umber, though it's not quite as reddish. I mean, that's Winsor & Newton's Burnt Sienna, And quite a few of my burnt siennas are around this kind of colour. So you can see that that's a lot more orangey, which is why I was saying the Aquarius Orange for mixing purposes might come in useful, because a regular burnt sienna lies somewhere between these two. Though this is Deep Deep Light's burnt sienna, which is quite a brown one and has got some similarity actually. So those are the colours in the palette, which look very pretty. All of these paints are a number 8, which is the highest light fast rating from Roman Szmal, and all of them are classed as semi-transparent, except for the Nicico Gold and the quinacridone red, which are transparent, and the cobalt sea blue, which is semi-opaque. So let's do some mixing with these colours now and see what else we can make. I'm curious first of all to see what kind of orange we can get if we mix the Nicico Gold with the quinacridone red. Because I want to see if the Aquarius Orange is worth keeping in a palette this size. So the Aquarius Orange is kind of quite a bit brighter than the mixture of the Nicico Gold and quinacridone red. I'm not sure how much that would bother me because I don't tend to use really bright oranges. It's whether or not this comes in useful as a mixing colour. So if we want to mix a kind of true neutral red, got the quinacridone red and the Aquarius Orange. So that's kind of the range of reds from the slightly pinkier to the slightly orangier side. I'm curious how much of a red we can get just by adding a little bit of Nicico Gold to the quinacridone red. So I can make a slightly dirtier kind of red just with the quinacridone red and the Nicico Gold. So for my red and orange purposes alone, I'm still not sure I need the Aquarius Orange in the set yet. So what other colours might I need? I'd like something more like a cerulean blue or sky blue, and I'd probably try and get that with the ultramarine and a little bit of the cobalt sea blue. Just to make it a little bit cooler. I'm wondering if I can knock back the ultramarine just by adding a tiny bit of the Nicico Gold as well. So both of those combinations make a slightly more natural looking sky colour for me. Now I definitely want a darker green, so I'll take my autumn green and see what mixes that I can get with that. Try it with French Ultramarine first of all. So that makes quite a nice forest green. Try mixing it with the orange. That makes a very olivey green. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to mix it with the shadow violet. Yeah, that's great. That's more the kind of green that I like using, like a very dark kind of olivey green. And that's a lot more like the Aquarius green. In fact, let me show you. Another colour I really like having in palettes is a very dark brown. So I'll try this burnt sienna brownish. I'll try a French Ultramarine first of all. Well, that's a lovely navy for a start. Okay, so I think these two are going to give us a nice range of dark browns and dark blues. Just want to see how strong I can get it. That's almost like Payne's Grey now. I'll show you it washed out. And I'll just, out of curiosity, do the French Ultramarine and the Aquarius Orange. So that's actually giving us something very, very close to the burnt sienna brownish. So again, you could get a range of greys and browns with those two. So yeah, there's some really nice mixes you can get with this set. I'm still not 100% sure I need the Aquarius Orange in it. It's also fun to think about what other fall paints I could add to complement these ones. Completely off the top of my head, I might look at adding Sennelier Soft Grey. It's kind of a buff titanium sand colour. And I really do like Schmincke's Cobalt Violet for kind of a softer shadow colour. Though, let's just have a go at mixing something similar with the French Ultramarine and the quinacridone red. So I can mix something really, really similar and it will granulate nicely as well because of the French Ultramarine. So that would be purely a convenience mix that, yeah, I'd have to think about that one. Seeing how nicely the autumn green and the shadow violet mixed, I'm not sure that I would even add another dark green in, even though I absolutely love my convenience dark greens. I would probably add in a sepia. This is Schmincke's, which is lovely and dark and cool. I just like having a dark that I can get to very quickly and easily. And then maybe I would add in some kind of PY43. So this is A Gallows Raw Sienna Badia, but anything along the raw sienna, yellow ochre kind of colour. So lots and lots of fun food for thought for me there. I could literally spend hours just playing with colour like this and thinking about colour combinations. It just makes me feel so cheerful. And I'd be super interested to know what your extra 4 paints are you'd add to this set. And then obviously I've got this little one as well. I really do like the packaging of these, by the way, and there's no plastic involved. And I really love this pink one as well. Just out of curiosity, I took the insert out to see if I could fit 15 half pans in. These are ones from Deep Deep Light, and they fit in really nicely. I've not put magnet on the bottom of these yet, but I think with magnet in, that would be a great little palette. I'm not sure I could fit 15 in though if I'm using the insert as well. I think these sides would take up a little bit too much space because there's not much wiggle room widthways. So, did I need any more travel palettes? No, but I'm absolutely delighted to have these. I'm going on an extended trip, not till the end of this year, but I do need to think about the balance between the weight and size of a palette versus taking enough paint with me that's going to last for a couple of months. I really like this Art Toolkit Folio palette, and that's what's in my travel bag at the moment. But I'm not sure if these pans will run out too quickly. I might want a whole half pan really filled up to the top. So I'll give some more thought to that as the time gets closer, but it might be that I take one of these with 15 in. Thanks for watching anyway, and I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at these new Roman Szmal palettes. Bye!